So today we're going to talk about the 400i. In my opinion, the ship is probably one of the most beautiful ships in the game. It really gives you that feel of exploration and that captain's kind of yacht feel, and just the overall aesthetics are just, insanely different than any other ship in the Star Citizen verse. But over the last few years, it's just been with power creep and I guess not feature creep, but power creep and just cargo creep and ships getting updating, having more firepower, having more cargo space. You just end up seeing ships like this just fall to the wayside and just becoming used less and less. I can't remember the last time I actually saw one of these out, and I do play quite a bit. So in today's video, we're going to talk about like what could we do to make this ship viable, and that's the first question I want to ask you guys that are watching this. What, in your opinion, what would you do to change this ship to make this ship viable to use now? Like, is there something simple that CIG could go out and do that would be simple enough and realistic enough to make the ship, usable and get up to a standard, kind of like they did with the raft, changing the cargo grid and stuff like that? What could make this ship better? And in today's vid, I'm going to go over my opinions of what could be done to maybe make this ship more viable, maybe get people to kind of get the dust off of these ships and get them out. So let's dive into that. So first off, right off the bat here, I want to talk about the weapons, right? So on this ship comes equipped with two size 4s right here on the sides of the nose that you can see. And then on the back, you have two turrets. Now these turrets are two size 3s on each turret. But for me, these turrets have always been kind of awkwardly placed. I think it's fine if you have people chasing you down and you're trying to fend them off or hold them off. But in reality, when you're fighting, especially even in PvE, we were messing around with the ship the other night, and it's just hard to stay bared on target. I don't know if it's the turrets themselves or just the location, but they should. I wish this bottom turret right here was kind of fitted more, like maybe right here. If it was like more here than tucked under the back right here, I think it would be a little bit better, as the gun could fire. It would be dropped down a little bit more and could fire a little more forward, which would kind of help with coverage. But just my 2 cents on that. But weapon wise, it does carry quite a few missiles. It's got like 4 racks of 8 missiles each on those racks, so it does come equipped with some pretty good missile loadouts here. But what my opinion on this ship, for something that they could do to maybe make this a little more viable because of the power creep of other ships, what if they took 2 more size 4 guns, so 4 size 4s on this, and they mounted. Now, I'm just trying to be realistic on this, something that they could make this ship viable until maybe it goes through another pass. What if they mounted 2 more of those right about, say, here? Now, I know the thruster's there, but they can mount them a little bit further forward or something like that. But what if they added another set of size 4s here on the wing? That seems like something that could actually be doable. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about adding maybe 2 size 4? It was mentioned to me that maybe they should just do 4 size 5s, bring it up to like Connie firepower. I don't know, for the type of ship it is. I think that may be a little much, but another set of 2 size 4 I do think is reasonable. All right, guys. So next, I do want to bring up the next thing for me that is a killer of this ship, which is the cargo bay. Now, the cargo bay holds a maximum of 42 SCU, and I have always felt like that was a huge downside of the ship, especially in today's gameplay with everything being physicalized and everything. I've always thought that this cargo bay could have been expanded. So this right here is the cargo bay. It is the 42 SCU of it, and it's just always been for me something that they could have changed simply by maybe the way they do the struts here, or the way the lift comes down itself. Like, I was always thought, well, what if they just did 2 rods like in here and then 1 on the front instead of the 4 things that go down? I know that kind of changes the aesthetics of the ship, and maybe that would be too much realistically for them to change for something quick. But if they did that, the widening of the bay itself, I mean, it looks like we could go out another few feet on each side right here. And if we could go out a few feet on each side, I think that would open up like some big possibilities of maybe taking it from like 64. For me, 64 would be a great number, the same as the C1. And then even if once you get up in the inside here, you could even fit possibly a little bit more than that. But 64 always to me sounded like a more reasonable number for this ship, because you can see all the space. Now, they're not going to be able to block these that they have here, which are, of course, useless right now. But the space that we have here in the front right here, and the little bit of space that we have on the sides that we could add a little bit more cargo, or even just with the length itself, making it a little bit longer to add that extra cargo. Maybe another 8 SCU box or 2-8, another 16 would be a major improvement on the ship. And with the added firepower and the cargo space, it may be enough to get people using this for smaller cargo runs instead of using something like a C1. But what do you guys think about that change right there? Now, these are the two major things for me that really keep me from flying it. Just the space and the firepower alone, and the position of the rear turrets. I'm not sure we could ever do anything about the rear turrets, but giving the pilot an extra 2 size 4 would definitely be beneficial, especially in a PvE setting, which is pretty much what anybody would really be doing with this ship anyways. I don't see anybody really going for a PvP. So, yep, what do you think about that change right there? So guys, to kind of finish this video off, I thought it'd be fun just to take a quick little tour through this 400i and kind of maybe talk about some things that could be updated, some things that not. Is anything really feeling outdated? For me, the cockpit area feels perfectly fine. I love that the pilot seat is in the center right here. I love that, you're looking out over the nose. I always thought this was a great design, and the view is actually pretty decent, not too bad. So moving on back here to the back, if we can get this door to open, thank you. We move back here to our map zone, which is, remember guys, this is like an exploration ship, so we are hoping that one day this is going to be something that's going to be great for scanning. We'll be able to check out things or find things. That's probably a long way out. This is probably something that's way after 1.0, because exploration definitely has not been talked about in a long time. The little kitchen area has always been great. I don't see any need to update any of this. They could add some little things here and there for like polish passes, but the overall design of it I thought was always great. Origin ships, I've always thought they did a really good job on. What do you guys think about this area back here? For me, it's just fine. Moving back, the crew quarters and stuff have always been great. Little captain's quarters. Nothing really big there to change or anything. Moving over here, we have our bathroom area and our shower area. Nothing really changes there. Origin's always been pretty good. Just a note, there is no reflection in this particular mirror. Hopefully that's something that they could work on or add. So if we move down here to the technical deck, sorry guys, I don't mean to be going through this real fast. I just didn't want to make this a long video, and just anybody who hadn't seen this ship yet that was watching this video thought it would be cool just to quickly show them. Not really a ship review, but these are all the components and panels and stuff. Really cool that it's in here, and I love that it's kind of like it has the cooling effect. This is different, as I don't really know any other ship that kind of has an area specifically like this. If there is, let me know. So moving back here to the back, you have our, I guess, your gravity generator. We have our side ports, which is really cool. Our docking ports right here, very cool here. And then we have our, personal storage, which is great. These are, I believe, are going to be the suit lockers. I've always loved that these come out. I believe these are suit lockers, and the things downstairs in the cargo bay are probably the escape pods. So if we come here, we press this. We have our ramp access that takes us down. Let's see if we can get this thing to open. I've always thought this was really cool. So these steps, I'm probably showing my age here, but these steps, have you guys ever seen a Flight of the Navigator? I don't know. These steps, along with the kind of like the Paladin ones, they always reminded me of the kind of steps where they were just like floating, even though these aren't floating, but the kind of like style of them. Moving up, we have another really cool thing, which they call the garage on the ship. And this was made for, I believe it's called the X1 bike. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% certain on this. But this is for, your vehicle, your mobile your mobile bike. I usually end up throwing a pulse or something in there, but yeah, it's got a nice actual spot for that, and it's the only ship I know of that has a specific spot for that. So yeah, overall the aesthetics, the look, the feel of the ship is awesome. If they could just do like a simple pass on it with the weapons and the cargo, in my opinion, I think it could bring the ship up to where you'd probably start seeing it a little more out in the verse. But guys, that is really gonna be it for the video. Just wanted to go over that. Some of those quick changes. I definitely want to hear what your changes would want to be to bring this up to a better standard. Remember, we're talking kind of like more realistic standard, like we did on the Reclaimer video. So yeah, please let me know. As always, guys, I appreciate the support. It's very welcomed and appreciated. Thank you guys for all the comments. I love having conversations in the comments with you guys. So please keep those coming. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video.